What is up YouTube, and welcome to this Supergirl video. So if you are new to the channel, please do consider leaving a like and a subscribe down below. Now I will warn you that this is not possibly going to actually be a positive video, because personally I never actually enjoyed this episode for a multitude of reasons. Now obviously, Supergirl has been gone for 3 months. It's been quite some time since we have checked in with Supergirl and Co. And you need a big episode to come back on. It's quite rare here that we've had poor old Supergirl with the TV show. It came back after Christmas, and then it was here for a couple of weeks, and then made way for Legends of Tomorrow, and now it has returned. So while it did return strong from Christmas, I haven't really enjoyed this or the entirety of the CW shows all that much this season, which is possibly why you may have noticed that I haven't produced that much CW content on this channel. But the fact that we started with pretty much a filler episode. This was an episode which was beyond pure filler. It's a story of Winn, who really, the story of his father being killed in prison, or at least being found dead in prison. This isn't a story really that needed telling, unless you had maybe a couple of weeks until the season finale and you just needed a filler episode, literally just to plug in the gaps between your story beats. Now, this should have definitely not been an episode which really we had no need for this episode, and it could have been one that was simply left for a couple of weeks. However, what this episode did was tell us the true mission of the Legion of Superheroes. This is one which is pretty obvious. So we start with Winn, and we get a very funny kind of scene in the karaoke bar, and I did like that. It was pretty funny. It was serviceable, at least. There was never much singing, not as much, or kind of a kind of musical episode which I've wanted for quite some time, ever since last season's Flash and Supergirl musical episode. But here we pretty much deal with the fallout of Winn's father's death, the Toyman, who is a villain in this show. And I do like how they make these iconic DC villains in the CW shows actual characters who have stuck around for quite some time. Mainly, kind of the counterpart over on The Flash is, of course, the Trickster, with Mark Hamill being incarcerated years ago, which I thought was pretty cool. But this is a story which didn't really need telling, to be honest. However, it could have been done well. But I really didn't like Winn's mother. Maybe it's the actor or the actress, but I did like the fact that she's walking around the DEO and she's like, no one cares, no one cares. It's very funny when shows kind of pick up on the extras that we see in the show. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did it very well a couple of episodes ago when they said, like, why have we got all these people? And it's like, they literally say, we need someone to, pick up the boxes, which was pretty funny, because I kind of walked back and forth. But here, this wasn't handled that well. We deal with the reason why Winn never really saw his mother that much, and that is because of his father's petty rules. And while I was expecting an interesting story of his mother being the one behind his father's death, or the one who was carrying on his legacy, or maybe even a heel turn from Winn, that would have been a nice little story. But no, they're not going to do that. It's just simply someone who is kind of a woman, nondescript and pointless. And we've got the Jimmy Olsen and Lena Luthor storyline carrying on yet again, which no one seems to care about. Even Lena Luthor does not care about that ship, but she has got Rain down in her secret sort of pod complex, and she is experimenting on her and seeing what is going on. So I expect Lena Luthor to look into the DNA and find the thing that Mon-El released and showed to, or kind of told Supergirl. He mentioned the fact that they're there to stop the Blight, which is kind of obvious. I kind of guessed that they were figuring out a way to do that. If they did have a secret mission, well, yes, it would be that, and it's to stop the Winnath planet being destroyed. And Pestilence, the third world killer, actually evolves into the Blight. The Blight being an intergalactic sort of Borg-like characters who want to decay and destroy everything and spread this across the world, which fits in because this was a Legion of Superheroes villain. So this being one of the villains that the world killers will actually lead into, well, that works out quite well. This is an interesting story, albeit just a bit predictable. Although Mon-El, I do get criticised for hating on him. He did really well this episode. I loved that he actually did something. He did his sort of cape trick. He was really good against those sort of winged beast monkeys, which, just cringe. And that dinosaur, and it just really wasn't that interesting, or it just was a really dull episode, really poor across the board, I'm afraid. And we also get the storyline with the father of John Johns, who I just do not care about that one bit. So Supergirl has returned and bogged us down in the minutiae of the Supergirl supporting cast when it should be about Supergirl. But next week it looks sick. We're getting a lot of fights. We've got Mon-El with his full-on costume finally, and we should speed towards the end, and we should have less filler moving forward as we try and find Pestilence, who will turn into Blight. Granted, how the hell are they going to change the timeline without ruining it just like Barry Allen did? Yes, time travel is not the rules and not consistent across Legends of Tomorrow, The Flash and Supergirl. Especially when it's stupid that you made sweeping changes to everything apart from Supergirl when you had Flashpoint. Whatever. But that's it. I'll see you soon, and goodbye.